the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Over 1,000 former rebels apply for amnesty program. Government declares Isabela City as ASG-free. DHSU deactivates Luzon shelter clusters to assist Typhoon Helian victims. COMELEC invalidates 42 party list groups for the upcoming 2025 midterm elections.
Good day everyone, as well to our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Today is Wednesday, October 2, and we'll bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. I am Rofh Suzon for AFP Community News.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our stories, a total of 1,069 former members of the New People's Army, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, Moro National Liberation Front, and the Alex Bongkayaw Brigade have applied for amnesty. According to Presidential Peace Advisor Carlito Galvez Jr., as of September 22, 114 applicants from the National Capital Region, including 2 ABB members, 11 NPAs, 56 MILF, and 45 MNLF combatants have filed applications with the local amnesty board. He expressed hope that the applications would be approved by year-end, as the final authority to grant amnesty rests with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Moreover, many former NPA rebels applied due to the group's diminishing support in communities.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Isabela City in Basilan Province has officially been declared free of the Abu Sayyaf group after 33 years of fear and violence. The announcement, made at a ceremony attended by local officials, police, and military personnel, marks a major milestone in the city's peace and development efforts. Mayor City Jailia Turabin Hataman emphasized the significance of the day, highlighting the city's future as a hub of peace, ongoing military operations, peace-building efforts, and ASG surrenders have contributed to this achievement. The declaration follows similar efforts in other parts of Basilan.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear from Jait about Fort ID conducts ethical standards and public accountability seminar for officers.
Yes, Rofh, the 4th Infantry Division held an Ethical Standards and Public Accountability Seminar at Camp Evangelista, Cagayan de Oro City. The said activity was led by Lieutenant Colonel Roberto V. de la Cruz and participated by executive officers and sergeant major to enhance their roles as ESPA officers, focusing on ethical issues, professionalization, and public accountability. The seminar emphasized addressing domestic issues such as handling complaints under RA 9262 and proper completion of SALN forms for transparency. Fort ID Commander Major General Jose Maria R. Cuerpo II highlighted the importance of ethical leadership in strengthening Fort ID mission and serving communities. This is Jay reporting for AFP Community News 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jait.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
At least 17 Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy vessels were spotted in 10 of the 13 features controlled by the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea from September 24 to 30. The Philippine Navy reported a total of 178 Chinese ships in the area, including 131 maritime militia vessels, 28 China Coast Guard ships, and 2 research vessels. While the numbers decreased from the previous week's tally, the Navy emphasized the need for strategic preparedness in the region.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Air Force launched its inaugural Sanay Bagwiz operational exercise at PAF headquarters in Pasay City. Running until October 4, the exercise aims to enhance Philippine Air Force's core system interoperability, identify operational gaps, and implement improvements through the Integrated Air Operations concept. Key activities include a tabletop exercise and field training exercise at Villamor Air Base and other Philippine Air Force locations. Major General Aristotel Gonzalez emphasized its role in aligning units for better coordination and boosting the PAP's operational effectiveness in modern warfare.
Armed Forces Radio.
We have a report coming in about Marcos administration reaffirms commitment in protecting Philippine maritime interests. Go on for the details, Angel.
Yes, Rofh, Department of National Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. reiterated the government's commitment in safeguarding the Philippines' maritime interests during the inaugural of Balangay Forum. He emphasized the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept as a key strategy in protecting the country's waters, aligning with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s stance on upholding maritime rights under international law. Meanwhile, Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. highlighted the military's dedication in defending the West Philippine Sea through multilateral cooperation and public awareness efforts. The forum marked the culmination of this year's Maritime and Archipelagic Nation Awareness Month. This is Angel Cruz Camomot reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Angel Cruz Gamomon.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 58th Infantry de Malulupig Battalion, in partnership with the Barangay Local Government Unit of Manandum Daan, conducted a peace dialogue in Barangay Manandum Daan, Medina, Misamis Oriental. The event focused on discussing the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program and the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020. Residents were educated on the dangers of terrorism, urged to report suspicious activities, and received leaflets on ICLIP and the Anti-Terrorism Act. Former rebels also shared their experiences, emphasizing the recruitment tactics of the communist terrorist group. The dialogue aimed to raise awareness about local safety and government programs.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, Typhoon Julian left the Philippine area of responsibility yesterday, but threatened to re-enter today. Pag-asa said that signal number 1 is in effect in more Luzon areas. These are Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, the northern and western portions of Pangasinan, Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Benguet, also the Batanes, Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands. Also under signal number 1 were the northern and western portions of Isabela and the northwestern portions of Nueva Vizcaya.
Armed Forces Radio.
From First CRG, let us hear some information from Maljoy about 5th NTF LCAC enjoins Cordillera RTF to continue collaborating for peace and development.
Yes, Rofh, the National Task Force on Ending Local Communist Armed Conflict is now preparing a roadmap as it gears towards transitioning into a national task force on unity, peace, and development. NTF-LCAC National Secretariat Executive Director Undersecretary Ernesto Torres Jr. shared this during the Cordillera Regional Task Force LCAC third quarter meeting in Baguio City on September 20, 2024. Undersecretary Ernesto Torres Jr. said that the NTF-LCAC with the different regional task forces have accomplished a lot since 2018, now with only 5 weakened guerrilla fronts remaining in the armed conflict struggle. Of the 5 remaining guerrilla fronts, 2 are operating in the Cordillera, Abra and Kalinga Apayao area, while the 3 are in Bicol region, Panay, and in southern Luzon area. Undersecretary Ernesto Torres Jr. explained that with the goal of ending the armed conflict with 0 or no active guerrilla fronts, the NTF-LCAC will be more focused on unity, lasting peace and development, in which he called for a whole-of-government approach and whole-of-nation participation. The third quarter RTF meeting was presided by Department of Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista, the Cabinet Officer for Peace, Development and Security for Cordillera appointed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Bautista expressed gratitude to the Cordillera RTF-LCAC members for their active participation participation and congratulated them for their accomplishments that show the impact of collaboration towards a shared goal of ending armed conflict one step at a time. This is Meljo Inesio Arroco reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy from First CRG.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development activated its shelter clusters in areas of Luzon affected by Super Typhoon Julian. These are in Ilocos, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, and Cordillera Administrative Region. DHSUD Secretary Jose Rizalino Acuzar said the activation of the shelter clusters would ensure that affected typhoon victims would be easily identified. Meanwhile, Undersecretary for Disaster Response Rondi Escolango assured that concerned regional directors have been enjoined to coordinate with their respective shelter cluster members.
DWDD National News.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian said cities and municipalities across the country are now one step closer in having dedicated evacuation centers. This follows the Senate's approval of SB number 2451 or the Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act. Gatchalian, who co-authored and co-sponsored the bill, said it mandates the establishment of evacuation centers in all cities and municipalities. He also added that during any disaster, it will be easier for affected residents to evacuate if they have a permanent safe shelter.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
Let us hear more updates from Mark about 6FAB holds third quarter NCO Leadership Forum strengthens unit leadership.
Yes, Rofh. The 6FAB Sergeant Major, Mr. Sergeant Nolito B. Capadoza, led the activity bringing together key NCO leaders, including Staff Chief NCOs, Battery First Sergeants, and Platoon Sergeants. The forum focused on experience sharing, problem solving, and leadership development, enhancing the capabilities of NCOs, who are vital to unit operations and mentorships. These discussions play a critical role in the battalion's continued operational excellence and mission success. This is Mark reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mark.
DWDD National
For other
News.
development story, the Commission on Elections invalidated and delisted 42 party list groups for the 2025 midterm elections. 11 of these were removed for their failure to participate in the last two preceding elections, while the remaining 31 failed to obtain a seat in the second round of seat allocation for the party list system in the last two preceding polls. The resolution was pursuant to Republic Act 7941 or the Party List System Act. COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin Garcia assured the public that the agency is carefully scrutinizing all party lists that applied for accreditation.
DWDD National News.
No candidate submitted a certificate of candidacy on the first day of filing in Muntinlupa for the upcoming 2025 national and local elections. Commission on Elections Muntinlupa Election Officer Attorney Kimberly Joy Alzatecu said they recorded 0 COCs on October 1. Voters in Muntinlupa will elect 8 councilors in each of the 2 districts. The COMELEC set the filing of COCs from October 1 to 8 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
And now let's hear a report on the ground about 14th CMO Battalion joins Talisay City's Alay Lakad for Charity. Go for the details, Beth Tañete.
The 14th Civil Military Operation Katipunan Battalion actively participated in the Talisay City's annual Alay Lakad marking the start of the city's fiesta festivities. The events are beginning at the Gaisano Mall and ending at the City Hall. Gathered barangay officials, students, and a local organization to raise funds for educational scholarship. The 14th CMO Battalion's involvement highlighted its commitment to community support and unity. This is Beth Tañete reporting for the EFP Community News, 1 EFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Beth Tañete.
DWDD National News.
Moving on to another story, preparations for the first Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao elections next year are underway. Cabinet Secretary and BARM spokesperson Maud Asnin Pendatun said that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has directed the peaceful, credible, and honest elections with a higher voter turnout. He added that they are doing numerous information education campaigns and other forms to explain the importance of having the first parliamentary elections. Pendaton expressed confidence that a high voter turnout is possible.
DWDD National News.
Filipinos in Israel were advised to stay in protected areas after Iran launched more than 200 missiles towards the Jewish state. The Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv said that Filipinos in Israel must stay inside shelters or mamad and get indoors as soon as they hear emergency sirens or receive notifications on their phones. In a Facebook post, the embassy asked Filipinos to follow the instructions from the Home Front Command. According to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran launched ballistic missiles toward Israel following deaths of the Gazan people as well as leaders of Hezbollah and Hamas.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
From Solcom, let us hear from Jess about 9th Infantry Division marks 20th anniversary with honors for heroes and recognition of anti-insurgency efforts in Bicol region.
Yes, Rofh. The 9th Infantry Spear Division Philippine Army marked its 20th anniversary on October 1, 2024 at Camp Elias Angeles, Pili, Camarines Sur. The celebration began with a wreath-laying ceremony led by Major General Noe Alberto Q. Peñafiel, commander of the 9ID, honoring Bicolano hero Elias Angeles. The event continued with an anniversary program with Major General Potencio C. Camba, Chief of Staff of the Philippine Army, as a guest of honor. Outstanding soldiers and units were recognized for their contributions, along with civilian stakeholders who played a key role in combating insurgency and maintaining public trust in the 9ID. In his speech, Major General Camba commended the division's achievements not only in combating insurgency but also in disaster response. He congratulated the personnel and the units that received special recognitions and expressed gratitude to other uniformed services and civilian partners for their important roles in the division's continued success. This is Jess from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess from Solcom.
DWDD National News.
The Manila Regional Trial Court Branch 11 convicted 10 fraternity members in the case of slain University of Santo Tomas Law freshman Horacio Atio Castillo III. That decision comes 7 years after his death in 2017. The court found Arvin Rivera Balag, Min Wei Chan, Axel Munro Hipe, Oliver John Audrey Onofre, Joshua Jorel Macabali, Ralph Trangia, John Robin Ramos, Jose Miguel Salamat, Daniel Hans Matthew Rodrigo, Marcelino Bagtag Jr. guilty beyond reasonable doubt of violation of the anti-hazing law of 1995. They were sentenced to reclusion perpetua or up to 40 years of imprisonment.
DWDD National News.
Budget and Management Secretary Amena Pangandaman, Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer, and the local government unit of Kauswagan Lano del Norte were this year's Gawad Kapayapaan awardee. The award recognizes the efforts made by individuals in advancing peace across the Philippines. Pangandaman reflected on her peace-building work, particularly in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. She also noted that their work is more than just dreaming of peace, but turning this dream into reality. She further reiterated her deep personal commitment to the peace process in the region.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
More updates from El Mercado, but BJMP seizes almost 500,000 pesos worth of suspected illegal drugs from a PDL in Antipolo City Jail.
A person deprived of liberty in Antipolo City Jail located at Sitio Pulong Banal, Barangay San Jose, Antipolo City, arrested by authorities after being seized to his possession a suspected illegal drugs consisting of 45.17 grams of suspected marijuana and 103.67 grams of suspected shabu with a total standard price of 710,369.20 pesos. An investigation disclosed that 4:50 p.m. yesterday when personnel from BJMP sought the assistance of the city's drug enforcement team and intelligence team of Antipolo City Police upon discovery of said illegal drugs from alias Aris, 41 years old, an inmate in the said facility. Based on the report, as per standard operating procedures, all PDLs must be searched before entering the facility to ensure that they comply with rules and regulations which is set by BJMP. And during the search, the personnel of BJMP noticed the suspect holding a face towel and instructed to place the towel on a concrete bench where the pieces of evidence were discovered placed inside a plastic pocket not tied and covered with a condom. Alias Aris, according to the police authorities, was jailed because of his case violating Republic Act 9165, Comprehensive Dangerous Drug Act Law of 2002, and included in the list of the Antipolo City Police as high-valued individual. This is Ella Mercado reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ella Mercado.
Armed Forces Radio.
And for other updates, let us hear the details about residents turn over 23 loose firearms to MBLT5 in Cotabato City. Go ahead, Jai Simbahon.
To Rofh, a total of 23 loose firearms were turned over to the Marine Battalion Landing Team 5 from September 15 until the end of the month. This initiative is part of the Joint Task Force Central Small Arms and Light Weapons Management Program. Lieutenant Colonel Lester Mark C. Bakey, MBLT-5 commander, credited local barangay officials for encouraging residents to surrender unlicensed weapons. Among the surrendered arms were sniper rifles, grenade launchers, assault rifles, and various short firearms. The SALW program aims to promote peace and security by curbing the spread of loose firearms. This is Jai reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jai Simbahon.
DWDD National News.
A new mobile app designed by Filipino innovators is poised to revolutionize the verification process for seafarer documents. The EC app brings security and convenience to the sector, empowering users to digitally verify the authenticity of certificates and other essential paperwork. The app is a collaborative effort between the United Training Services, the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, and the Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines. United Training Services Chief Executive Officer and founder John Hart said their primary goal is to ensure the Philippines maintains its position as the world's leading supplier of seafarers by guaranteeing the authenticity of their documents.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our Facebook page, AFP Radio DWDD. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time and same station. Again, this is Rofh Suzon for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.